we go. Okay, so we're going to start today with a demonstration of two new features in Torah. Okay, so the first is not really a new feature. It's just that I discovered that the Minyan and Mitzvos in the Mishneh Torah. Oh, there we go. There's Zev. Oh, and there's Moshe. Okay. We'll wait till they register here. Okay, hey, how's it going? I was just saying I'm going to start off by showing two new features in the Torah, which is number one, the I don't know about for all the Mishneh Torah, but certainly for the Minyan and Mitzvos, they have a translation which will help us out. And they also, since this is Torah, it'll give us greater ease at going to the Psukim. So that's nice. But then the really cool thing is if you go to Torah, I got to move you guys actually. Go to Torah, and then you click on the little, I guess they call this a sandwich menu on the right. And then you go to Halacha, and then you go to Ma'agir HaMitzvos. Okay, so let me show you what we have here. So we have here, these are all people who wrote Sifrei Mitzvos. Bahag, the Sefer Yereim, Rambam, Ramban, Smag, Smak, and Sefer HaChinuch. So let's say we want to see a side-by-side comparison of the mitzvos that the Rambam listed and the mitzvos that the Bahag listed. So you check off Bahag and Rambam, and let's say we want to order it based on the Rambam or order it based on the Bahag. So let's, for kicks, order it based on the Bahag, okay? And then we click display and check it out. So you have here for each mitzvah, then it'll, actually, I'm going to do this alphabetically just to make it not based on one side or the other. So it'll show you the mitzvah, the Shem HaMitzvah, the Psukim, and then whether the Bahag or the Rambam listed. So not to disparage the Bahag any more than the Rambam would, but check out Ahavas Shalom. So the Bahag counts Ahavas Shalom as a Mitzvos Aseh. Rambam doesn't. Bahag counts Ish Kamatnas Yado. Rambam doesn't. Al Tomar Bilvavcha B'tzit Kascha Heviani Hashem. Bahag counts that. Rambam doesn't. Oh, then we finally got one that's actually of both of them. Al Techala Es Bitcha Lahas Nosa, where the Bahag counts this as 3 different Los Asehs, and the Rambam counts it as 1. So this would be, this is going to be beyond the scope of what we're doing, but this is certainly a very, very good list for doing an analysis of mitzvos. Or let's say like the Rambam and the Ramban, that's another famous thing. Actually, let's organize, so we could do this. Organize it Lefi Seder HaRambam. So that way, when we're going through, you could see that, oops, did I just click something different or did I just click it twice? What happened there? I think I just clicked something. I don't know what just happened. Let me go back. Oh, I opened a window. Yeah, so you can see here, for example, so this is the list of the Rambams. And then for the Ramban, the Ramban had a hasagos on the Rambam. He had critiques. So you can see here, for example, that this is on Mitzvah Aleph, the Ramban has a critique. Second Mitzvah, he does not have a critique. Third one, he does not. Fifth one, he has a critique and he doesn't count it, right? Because some of these are just like Ravid style critiques. Some of them are ones that he doesn't count. And then I think if we scrolled more enough, more than we'd see, there are mitzvahs, maybe they listed at the end. I don't know, mitzvahs that the Ramban counted that the Rambam didn't count. And then if we want to look at his critiques, you click on that, and this should take you to hold on. Yeah, to the Ramban's critiques right here, and then you can read them. So very useful tool. Zev, did you see the first part of that, or were you not seeing?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, so nice little tool there. Okay, so we are going to continue where we were yesterday. So oopsies. I accidentally closed that window. Okay, so we were at Halacha and Mishneh Torah.
There's surprisingly few Minyan and Mitzvot.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. Yeah, and I think those are all of them, or at least all the well-known ones. I forgot if they had Saudi on there, but yeah, it's my guess is that like it was a period genre thing. Like it seems like most of the Gaonim didn't really do it. Saudi Gaon did, yeah, I mean Chazal were not really doing that, and I don't know of any like Achronim who did their own Sefer Mitzvos, other than like ones that were just distillations of the ones that the Rishonim did, like the Sefer Mitzvos Katzar or whatever that the Chavetz Chaim did. I think that was I mean, actually I shouldn't say. I don't really know whether that was his own thing or whether he was relying on another number. But what is this? Perush? Oh, there's no Perush there. Okay, fine. Okay, so we were up to Kuf Chaf Hey, I believe. Okay. Kuf Chaf Hey. Okay, so we have so the last one we did was the agricultural tzedakah mitzvos. So then we have Lahavi Bikurim. Yeah, Lahavi Bikurim the Beis Halchir, to bring the first fruits to the Beis Halchir. Shnemar Reishis Bikuri Ad Mascha, the first fruits of your land. 126 Lahafrish Truma Gedola Lakoin, to separate the I don't know what the standard translation is, large truma for the kohen. Shnemar Reishis Dagan Titin Lo. So I don't really know what that is. I don't really know. Do you anyone either of you know your trumas and maestros really well?
I know it like decently.
Decently, yeah. So what is I guess yeah.
Truma Gedola is what we just call truma.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was a separate thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Then
as opposed to Truma Samaser.
Right. And Trumas Master goes to the Levim or the Kohan. The
Levim give it to the Kohanim.
Okay, the Levim to the Kohanim. Fine. So then Lahafrish Dagan La Levim, separate Dagan Meister Dagan for the Levim. Shnemar of Chol Masar Haaretz. Lahafrish.
Weirdly specifies Dagan.
Yeah, it is weird, right? Because it's not. Is it exclusively Dagan or not?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Let me hold on. See. All right, so now I can actually. I told Joe this last night after the Mishneh shiur, that when I talked to the Al Torah guy, to Rabbi Novetsky, he said not only do we want feedback, but we crave feedback, critiques, and suggestions, or even dreams. Like if you want a feature, then tell us, and we'll try to make it happen. So like it would be very nice. I'm going to tell him this. I'm just realizing this. This is the first time I'm really using their Minyan Mitzvos. But it'd be really nice if you could click it, and it would take you to the Sefer Mitzvos, and it would take you to the Chalukas Hasfarim in the Mishneh Torah to see where he classifies it, so you could like see it side by side. So that's what I'm craving. Okay, let me just look at the Sefer Mitzvos, and that way we can compare it, or we can look it up. Okay, hold on. Okay. I did something to my, hold on. I did something to my Zoom panel that makes it not retract, and I can't figure out what it is. Let's see, hide. Oh, hide floating panel? No, that's you guys. Show floating panel. Hide floating meeting controls. Oh, so I can press escape. Oh, that's actually much handier than I've ever seen. Okay. Can I press it again? Hold on. Okay. I'm just going to hide floating. Okay. Then we go to Sifrei Mitzvos and Rambam. This is slow. I always miss the Rambam. Oh, here we go. Oh, because it doesn't have a lot of pluses there. All right, 125. Or 127 we were at. Yeah, 127, is that the one we were on? Yeah, see, so here he does say, he should be on Lahoti Meister Mitzemach Haaretz, V'hu Amro Yisbarach V'chol Masar Haaretz Lashem. So Tzemach Haaretz would seem to be more all-inclusive than Dagan. Is Dagan ever used for produce in general? I thought Dagan was specifically like the Chamisha Mine Dagan. You know, this says corn. I don't know what this English translation is, but yeah. Isaac, are you talking?
Yes,
Okay.
I turned on my camera and I assumed that I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, corn is a really weird translation.
Yes.
I've never seen that before. I've seen Dagan used to mean grain, like hamotzi.
Right. Strange.
But it's usually like Dagan as opposed to Yurakos, I think.
Okay.
Or that's the context I've seen it in terms of brachos.
Okay, so 128 is lahafrish meiser sheni leheacha lebalav b'Yerushalayim. So to separate second meiser to be eaten by its owners in Yerushalayim. Shnemar aser to aser eis kol tzvos zarecha. You should certainly tithe all of the produce of your seed, not your offspring. That's different. Your planting. Mipiyesh mo lamdu shazehu meiser sheni. Okay, fine. Leos haLevim mafrishim meiser min hameiser. Oh, so that's the meiser min hameiser. The Levim have to take meiser min hameiser to give it to the Kohanim. Shalachum Yisrael v'nosni also l'Kohanim. So they take their meiser that they get and they separate some for the Kohanim. Shneimar v'el Levim tadaber. Our goal, by the way, today is to get into practical mitzvos. I don't know when that happens, but I'm kind of getting bisman shabbos mikdash kaim fatigue here. Lahafrish meiser ani taras.
These we kind of have now.
Yeah, I guess in Israel, right? Yeah. In my mind, they're still in that framework.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
What's the point of the Levium giving the meiser to the Kohanim? If the point of this is just to give the Kohanim food, then why not just give it to them directly?
That's a good question, right? I mean, so on the surface level, what are you going to have to say? I mean, this is a Tamei Mitzvos question. You're asking like what's the philosophical reason, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So what are you going to have to say, bare minimum?
It's clearly not just about the Kohanim getting food.
Right.
It's also for the giving.
Exactly, right. It's not just a practical wealth or resource allocation strategy. It is, there's some perfection in the act of giving itself. So let's, you know what we can do? We can flag this mitzvah with a bookmark, and then sorry, that's not the right mitzvah. We're talking about meiser minimizer. What let's do is, since we are, since I kind of want to, let's do this. Let's make it our goal, okay? I don't know how realistic this is at all, to finish the Mitzvos Aseh this week, okay? If we finish the Mitzvos Aseh, we will reward ourselves by looking at the Tamei Mitzvos in the Sefer HaChinuch on the mitzvos that we flag. Okay, because I kind of want to get into the just, you know, I don't know, I asked you guys at the beginning, have you ever gone through all the mitzvos before? And I hadn't. I didn't know it would take this long. I thought, and it's not like we're going extremely slow, like we're reading them pretty fast, but I kind of want to move on, but I also want to be thorough. So
613 is a big number.
Yeah, it's true. Okay. Yeah, I realized today we missed, we got to the halfway mark yesterday and didn't realize it. So that would have been a cause for celebration. Had a half siyum. Had a half of a whatever people eat at siyum. Okay.
Half of the Minyan mitzvos.
Say again?
It's a quarter of the Minyan mitzvos.
Yes, true. Or really numerically less than a quarter, right? Yeah. Okay. 130. Lahafrish meiser ani. Oh, did I finish reading this? Yeah, I did. Didn't I? Menosni also l'Kohanim. Yeah, Shemar ve'el Levim tadaber. Lahafrish meiser ani tachas meiser sheni bashlishis uvashviis bashavua. Shnemar miktzeh shalosh shanim toti es kol masar tuvasacha. Okay, so this is another thing that I didn't really. I'm not familiar with the system at all. So meiser ani, in place of meiser sheni on the 3rd year and the 6th year out of the Shemitah cycle. Not familiar with that.
Yeah, you bring Meiser Sheni years 1, 2, 4, and 5, and years 3 and 6. Years 3 and 6 is Meiser Ani.
Okay, that seems to be very basic. Thank you. I did not know that. 131, Lehizvados Vidui Meiser, to do the confession of Meiser, or however you want to say, declaration. However, Rav Pesach defined it in his Vidui shiur. He had a good explanation for like why it's in the reflexive and why it is for Bikurim also. I mean, I know this is not Vidui Bikurim, but Shnemar ve'amarta lifnei Hashem elakacha bi'arti hakodesh. 132 likros al habikurim, to make to read over the bikurim. Shnemar ve'anisa ve'amarta lifnei Hashem elakacha. So that we're familiar with. This is Arami Ovid Avi. Whoa, what happened? Are you guys are still there, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I just got a notification that I got signed out, but I'm signed in. Yeah, I assume this is having to do with the Lomdeha account. I'm gonna leave this meeting and then just see what happens. Okay, if I don't come back, call the police. I'll make Moshe the. Okay, I'm back, and okay, don't know what happened. I'm going to reclaim the host, and I will reshare the screen.
I'm glad that everything's okay. I heard that on your street there's been a lot of Zoom thefts.
Yeah, hijacking. All right. Okay, so Likros al Bikum Shnemar V'Yanis V'Marta al Hafrish Chala La Kohen 133 to separate Chala for the Kohen Shnemar Bereshis Arisosem Chala Terimu. The first of your flour or your dough, you shall separate as Chala for the Kohen. Lahashmit Karka, so that's Shemitah. To let it lie fallow, I guess would be the literal translation. Yeah, that's what it says there. I'm gonna. Okay, whatever. In the seventh year, you should let it lie fallow and natash, lie still. Interesting. 135 lishbos me'avodas haaretz. So this is two things, right? So there's a this is something we should look up. Lahashmit karka and lishbos me'avodas haaretz. So is that just a double? Is that a double duty or not double duty mitzvah? Two mitzvahs for one thing, or is there like some nafkamina? What number was that? That was 134. Hold on, let me see if I can get this here. 134. Okay, so 134. Oh, so this is an interesting formulation here. Wait, what was before this? Yeah, right. So here in the Sefer Mitzvos, he says, "He should tivanu lahafkir kol ma shetitmach haaretz b'shnas hashmita v'hitir smichas karka osenu kulam l'chol adam." So to render ownerless everything that grows in the land in the year of Shemitah, and to permit the growth of the land in its entirety for all people. So that's what he formulates that mitzvah. And then the next one is yeah. So this makes sense then, right? So the first mitzvah is to relinquish ownership over everything that grows, and therefore it's for everyone. But that itself wouldn't prohibit working the land, and then working land is a separate disser. Okay. So then Lakadish, yeah.
What was that difference?
Sounds like avoda. That 134 is you got to make all your land, your growth of the land ownerless and leave it for everyone. Meaning it has to do with exerting bilus over it. And then the second one is actually working the land.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. 136 is Lakadish Nas Yova Bishvi'is Kashemita. So to sanctify the 50th, the Yovel year of as a Shisa like Shemitah, so that's the 50th year. Should sanctify the 50th year, so that's where you're going to get a double year of Shemitah action or inaction. 137 Litkoa b'shofar b'shnas hayovel. Shnemar v'havarta shofar trua. So that's its own mitzvah to sound the shofar in the year of the Yovel. Shnemar v'havarta shofar trua. You should cause a shofar trua to pass. 138 litin geula la'aretz b'shnas hayovel, to have a to give a redemption for the land in the year of Yovel. Shnemar b'chol eretz ahuzaschem gula titnu la'aretz. So that's the land going back to its ancestral owners. 139 lios gulas bate arechoma ad shana. So this is another one I don't know about, despite it being featured prominently in the Psukim. Isaac, you know about this, right?
Yeah, it actually came up in Erechon.
Yeah. So what you want to give us an overview?
Okay, so hold on. So when when you sell a field, it goes out at Yovel, and
Meaning it goes back at Yovel.
it goes back to the original owner at Yovel. But
Yeah.
houses in walled cities don't function like that. I think that's only cities that were walled from the time of Yoshua ben Nun. So when you sell a house in a walled city, you have 1 year to redeem it, like from the date that you sold it. And if the year passes and you don't redeem it, then it's the new person's ownership forever.
I see.
I mean, unless he sells it or whatever.
Thank you for the overview. Okay. Next is limnos shnei yovel shanim ushmitin. So to count the years of Yovel, both the years and the Shemitah cycles. Shnemar v'safart l'cha sheva shabos shanim. So that is a mitzvah on Beis Din, not on the individuals. 141 lahashmit ksafim b'shavi'is. So that's releasing the money that's owed, debts on the 7th year. Shnemar shamot kol bal mashe yado. They translate this year as every creditor that lendeth aught to his neighbor shall release it. Yeah, I never quite got it. Yeah.
Before we get there, just on the one previous, limno shnei, the years of Yovel. So why is that any different than counting the years of the just like the months of the year, I guess? Or whatever.
This
like,
is really
an automatic thing.
Yeah, this is, I believe this is analogous to what do you call it? To Sfiras Omer, right? I think there's a lot of like cross-pollination of halachos there that they actually have to do like a Maisa Sfira. Whereas I don't think that's a thing for like for the calendar for being Karsh the Chodesh, that's just the Chodesh, and then you practically need to count the days, but there's no mitzvah to like do a Maisa Sfira. Let me just look it up in the Sefer Mitzvos and see if he elaborates on what the mitzvah is. Kufmen. Woo, that's a long one. He should tell limnos hashanim hashmitim sheva ad shnasa yava achar shenichbash haaretz v'his gavarnu ba umitzvah zo klomar sphere shnei hashmita he nimseres lebeis din agadol klomar sanhedre gadola kihim shimnu shana meha chamishim shana kumoshimna kol ish v'ish mimeno yimeha omer. I'm trying to see if he says the maaseh of it. No, but I think that's it though. I think they actually have to count it. Can you imagine how embarrassing it is? Like, like there's nights the Omer where like you're like, oh, what did I count last night? If you have that on the scale of the Shemitah thing. Okay, yeah. So I think it's actually like they have to do an action of counting. 141. Lahashmi ksafim bashvis. Oh, we did that. Lingos lanochri. Shene'amar es hanachri tigos vasher yeh lecha es achicha. Here's another one I don't really know about. So they say it's to exact the debt of an alien, of a non-Jew. Let me see exactly what that means here.
This is definitely Avosh.
This is definitely what?
This is definitely not low Avosh.
Yes. Mishetivanu lingos ha'akum l'hachricho lifroa chovo k'moshin tzavinu lachmo al Yisrael. He's hirana milingos also. That's weird. I didn't know this. Yeah, you have to pressure a non-Jew to make him pay his debt. What does that even mean practically? I mean, he says it's the opposite of being commanded to have mercy on the Jew and prohibited to pressure him. I mean, I know I like see this is one of these psukim where like you read it every year in Shnai Mikra as Hanachri Tigos, and then I just like my mind just must glaze over. Like I don't even know what that is.
Right. It sounds like that's. I mean, just from reading the psukim, that would sound like a matir to do that. It doesn't. Sound
right.
Like
yeah. I would not have thought it was mitzvah. That's a good point. Let's just see here if there's anything we can get.
Yeah, I guess this is like, don't forgive his debt or be lenient on him for.
Yeah.
I guess. I have no idea what the Tama mitzvah could be for this.
Yeah. All right. So the place to look would be the Ralbag, because he would say Zo Mitzvos Aseh kadesh lo nasan matanos chinam lo ovdei kochavim ovdei avodah zara. So that's mitzvah to say to not give gifts to the ovdei avodah zara. That's weird. That's very weird. Does he have the Tualos here? Shetzivano lingos hanachri kadesh lo nasan matanos chinam lo ovdei avodah zara. Kumamro es hanachri tigos. I wonder if there's a way to hold on. I bet we can go to, I don't know all the features here. I'm trying to see if there's an easy way to get to the Rambam in the Mishneh Torah from there. If we did Moneh HaMitzvos, Rambam Mitzvah, no, so that'll take us, yeah, so that only takes us to the Sefer Mitzvos. But it's not going to take us to the, let's look at the Sefer Chinuch on it though. Mitzvah Lingos is Hanachri. Lingos Hanachri, Ovid Avodah Zara, Sheyifra Mashu Chov Chayev Lanu, Velo Nachmol, Unrachmel Al Harich Lo Hamalveh. So you can't prolong his lending. You have to, that's so weird. You have to collect. So let's look at the time of it. So no, we're gonna flag it. Right, we can't get behind. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're how are we doing it? We're doing it in this. Okay. Good. Okay. Onward. Ever onward. All right. 143. Litin min habehema lakoin hazrova halachayim v'hakeva shnemar v'nasan lakoin hazroa. So here's another one. Is this what do we call? Is there a name for this?
The priestly gifts.
Isn't that like a bunch of things? Yeah. To give from the animal the I never know the animal terms for this these parts of the anatomy.
Yeah.
The shoulder, the two cheeks, and the maw. Okay. Congrats.
Isn't the maw like the gap between the upper?
That's,
and
yeah,
lower?
right, like an open maw. Yeah, right. I mean, the maw must be part of the jaw.
Maybe it's like both halves of the jaw or something.
All right, let's try this out and see if they have this as a resource here. If we look at Olam HaMikra, let's see if they have a picture of it. Olam, where is the Olam HaMikra? Unless they don't have it on Devarim. I thought they had it on everything. Oh, I guess they don't have it on Devarim, or on this Perek at least. All right, never mind. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, fine. Okay. Litain Reshis HaGaze LaKohen. Shnemar Reshis Gaze Tzonacha Titain Lo. So that's the first shearing. Ladun B'dine Charamim. Mehem Lashem Mehem LaKohen. So this is weird, right? Because didn't we have Erechin stuff earlier?
Rambam is different than Erechin.
Right, but the Rambam, I'm saying it's weird because doesn't the Rambam codify them together? Isn't that one section of the Mishneh Torah?
Yeah, but this is things that you give to the Kohen.
Right.
So,
I mean, so yeah.
There's a machlokas about whether Stam Choramim is to the Kohen or to the Beis Mikdash.
Oh, okay, fine. So the Mikdash stuff was above, and this is.
Yeah, I guess maybe I would guess that he poskins that it goes to the Kohen.
Yeah.
Because that's why it would be here.
And now finally we get to practical stuff for us. Stuff that applies everywhere Bisman is at. Yeah. Lishchot behema chayav v'achar yochal b'saram. To slaughter the domesticated wild animals and the bird, and afterwards eat from their flesh. Not to imply that the eating is part of the mitzvah. Shnemar v'zavachta mi b'karcha u'mitzonecha. You shall slaughter from your cattle and from your flock. Then l'chasos dam chaya va'of. Shnemar. Oh, so this is interesting, by the way. So just keeping track of like classifications here. So this is the first mitzvah in Hilchos Machalos Asuros we're seeing. In fact, it's the first mitzvah. Well, I guess it's not the first mitzvah. Yeah, it's the first mitzvah in Isurei in Sefer Kedusha, I think.
We saw Nida, didn't we?
Or
is that in Torah, maybe?
I think that is the Torah din of Nida. I don't think that was. Did we see anything that you're not allowed to sleep with a Nida?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so, right? Unless that was included. But I think that was just being nohig the Tumas Nida. Unless that's included. But I'm pretty sure it's a separate. Well, of course not, because it would be a Los Aseh, right? That was the Aseh for So that's interesting here, right? I guess I would have assumed. Now, maybe it's because I'm guessing it's because this is also connected to the Mikdash stuff, right? As a shchita, but I would have guessed maybe it's just because I've been in Mishneh Torah mode for so long that the first mitzvahs of Kedusha we would have seen would be the simanim of the kosher and non-kosher animals, because that's what he has first in Hilchos Malachos Asuros. So yeah, I feel like this is an example of something that I feel like we are seeing here, by the way, that unlike the Sefer unlike the Mishneh Torah, where things are classified like in a vacuum, so to speak, like the Rambam dumped out all the mitzvos on the floor and is putting them in boxes. This list is much more associative, or like drop down menu style, where we've seen like topics flow into other topics with bridge mitzvos in between. I know it's a very loose description, but that's the sense I'm getting. Okay. Lishkot behema chayav of. We did it. All right. Lachasos dam chayav of. To do kisui hadam on chaya and of. Shemar v'shafach es damo v'chisaho be'afar. You should you should pour out its blood and cover it with dirt. Here's another example of something that I was totally ignorant about. I did not know until last year that you don't do kisui hadam on behemos. That the mitzvah is kisui hadam on chaya and of.
Whoa, I had no idea.
Yeah, unless there's some durabanan, but like certainly in the doraisa.
Wait, what's the difference between a chaya and a behema?
So behema is a domesticated animal and chaya is a wild animal. So chaya would be like a deer or a hart or a giraffe, and behema is, I believe, only species of cattle, sheep, or goats.
Got it.
I think everything fits under one of those three. Yeah. So that's a thing. Okay. L'shaleach.
Can we mark that for Tamei Mitzvah?
Sure. Which one was that? This one. Okay. L'chaso, we did that. L'shaleach hakein. Shene'emar shalech teshalach es ha'im ve'es habanim tikach lach. So the sending away of the mother bird or the nest, right? It's always weird, right? Because kain means mother nest, or means nest. But I feel like I've seen this being translated as mother bird. Okay. And just to clarify here, I want to do this one just because I think there's a machlokas Rambam and Rashi, and I think the way that people envision this mitzvah is different than the way people think. Oh, look at this! This is actually interesting. So this is another feature. So it looks like the Rambam in the Sefer Mitzvah, it looks like this edition of the Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs does link you to the Rambam in the Halachos, so we can go there. What did we say? What did we say earlier that we wanted to look at in the Halachos? Anyone remember? Oh, the Nachri, right? Yeah, let's just go back for 1 second, even though I just said we must go ahead at all costs. Malve v'love. Mitzvos Aseh. Okay, wait, was it Malve v'love? Does he tell us the halacha? No. So if we just look at Nachri. Kol noges ani v'hu yodesh ein lo ma yachzir lo over belos hazeh shnemar lo tia lo kenoshe. Mitzvos Aseh limgos es ha'akum. So yeah, we're not getting any real elaboration on this. Everyone just has that one-liner, that you have to oppress the Nachri to get the debt from him. Very strange. Okay. But anyway, what were we just doing? So I just want to look here really quickly. 13. Halokeach aim al habanim v'shichata. Habasar muter b'achila v'lokeach al shchitas ha'im shneimar lo sikach aim al habanim v'chein im mesa kodem sheyishalchena lokeh v'im shilchal achar shalakacha pater. So one who takes the kids, the mother from over the kids and shechs her, the basar is muter in eating, but then you get malchus on the shchitas ha'im. As it says, don't take the mother over the kids. Same thing if she dies before you send her away, then you get malchus. Mutter. Sorry. If you send her away after you take her, meaning I guess you take her and then you send her away, then you're pater. V'chein kol mitzvos lo saseh shenitkal aseh chayav l'kaim aseh sheba im lo kimo lokeh. Yeah, hold on. I thought there was a thing. Okay, never mind. This is going to take us too far afield. Too far a nest. All right. Next is livda. Oh, here. So this is the first one he does in Malachos Asuros in the Mishneh Torah. And this is a weird one. Livdok b'simane behema shenemar zos hachaya asher tochlu. To examine the signs of the behema as it is stated, this is the chaya that you shall eat. Okay, so this is one of the things where the Rambam's formulation is different, I believe. Actually, let me look in the. So here he also says livdok in Malachas Asuros. He says. I just want to see if he says that in the Koseres. Malachas Asuros, Hakdama. No, he says livdok. I thought somewhere he uses the lashon of leda. Is it in here? V'chol. Either way, the question is, what exactly is this mitzvah telling you to do? Like, in other words, when are you makayim this mitzvah? Like if you go up to a random animal on the street and say, "Excuse me, sir, can I check your simanim?" And then you just check out the simanim. Like, is that being makayim the aseh? That's what lashon bedika would seem to imply. How does he say it in the Sefer Mitzvos? He should leave livdok b'simanim behema v'chaya hashechutin. Oh, so that's also interesting. So he says hashchutin. I don't know if that means the ones that are shechted or the ones that we may shecht. V'hu sheyihu male gera v'shosei hashasa shasa v'az yu mutayim la'achlan v'hiyosenu mitzuvin livdok osan be'elo simanim hu mitzvos aseh. The fact that we are commanded to check these simanim is mitzvos aseh. V'hu amri yisaparach zosachai asher tachlu. Lashon sifra osa tochelu. Osa ba'achila ve'in behema tamea ba'achila. Rotalam behema shiyu bas hasimanim ha'elu mutar la'ochlo. Yeah. So yeah, that's my question, I guess, is what is the mitzvah to do exactly? Okay. Then we've got livdok b'siman ha'of ad sheyavdil bein tameh shabo latahor shabo. Okay, so this is also interesting, right? You know what's weird about this formulation? Livdok b'siman ha'of ad sheyavdil bein tameh shabo latahor shabo.
He doesn't say that for the first one. He doesn't say.
That's true. That is true. There's something halachically weird about this, not just formulation wise. Yeah, here we go. This is what's weird. He should leave it with simani ha'of shiyu k'tas mimeno mutarim. The simani ha'of lo ne'emru min Torah. אבל הגיעו בחקירה כשאנחנו חיפשנו המינים שנכתבו איסורן אשר מצאנו בהם סגולוס יכללו אותם עם סימני עוף טמא. So in other words, when it comes to the behema, chaya, chagav, and dagim, then the Torah gives us simanim, but by the ophos, it just lists the non-kosher ones. So there are no simani ha'of listed in the Torah. So it is weird that he includes that in the formulation of the Mitzvos Aseh. Like he should have said, like, lahavdil be'ophos bein tameh latahor, because that's the only way the Torah formulates it. But what basically happened was the Rabbanan examined all of the non-kosher birds and then found certain simanim, like the crop, I think you call it, the thing that the chicken, or not that I don't know what you call it, the thing that like digests the stuff. I know my birds really well. And then also the claw, the certain type of claw that is a sign in predatory birds. So I guess the Rabbanan identified that, but it sounds like the Rambam holds that there is sort of like a Doraisa identity to that, because even in the Sefer Mitzvos, he says that the Torah doesn't, we don't know it from the Torah, but we know it from Chakira. And I guess meaning that we identify in the Doraisas from Chakira. That's an interesting thing, just like what status that has in the mitzvah. Okay.
Wait, whether it's the Rabbanan and Doraisa?
Yeah, I mean, because the Rabbanan are the ones who came up with the Simanim, but they were doing, it's not like they added any categories, you know? But so in other words, like from a Isser standpoint, there's no Rabbanan that shows up. But when you have this mitzvah of livdok, so what exactly was the mitzvah to figure out what the simanim are, you know? Because by the behema, it's like you just have to examine the animal to see whether it has the simanim. Here, like figuring out what distinguishes non-kosher birds from kosher birds, that seems to be the mitzvah. Strange. Okay, 151. Livdok b'simane chagavim leda tahor min hatame shnemar asher lo kira'ayim. Right. So this is for the grasshoppers or locusts, however you want to call them. The ones that have the jumping legs on their regular legs are the ones that are kosher. Livdok b'simane dagim, to examine the signs of fish. These you should eat from all that are in the water.
Great question.
Yeah.
If you read these mitzvahs like in the Mishneh Torah, is that like be makayim this mitzvah?
So yeah, that's what I was getting at also when I said like, what is the mitzvah? Like, livdok seems to imply you're actually examining a specimen and examining them through these lenses to see if there is to see if how they're classified. But I could have sworn that there was a thing where the Rambam says, oh yeah, there it is. I guess I just didn't notice I was in Perek Beis. In Perek Aleph, in the Mishneh, it says, mitzvah say leida hasimanim shemav dealing behen bein behema v'chayav of dagim v'chagavim shemutar la'achlan v'ein she'ein mutar la'achlan. Shnemar v'yivdaltem bein behema hatorah latmea v'ein of hatamei latorah. V'nemar l'havdil bein hatamei v'ein hatahor v'ein hachaya shenechelos v'ein hachaya asher lo to'echel. So yeah, that sounds like just knowing the simanim is enough. But lashon bedika implies examination. So I don't know the answer, but that is the question that I had. I just didn't realize I wasn't in the first parak. Okay. 153. L'kadesh chadashim v'lachshov shanim. Okay. Is this the first completely inexplicable leap that we've seen since mitzvah 20? I feel like the first 19 mitzvahs were all Yesodei HaTorah-ish, and we could kind of see like a flow. Then there's building the base of Bechira. And I feel like within all the Mikdash stuff, there was like at least A to B, B to C, C to D, but I don't see a clear connection between fish simanim and Kiddush HaChodesh.
Well, fish have a life cycle of 1 month.
I thought you were going to say that one of the mazalos is dog, and you got to know that, yeah.
Chas v'shalom.
So this is a mitzvah on Beis Din to sanctify the months and to calculate the years and the months in Beis Din alone. This month shall be for you, the first of the months.
Wait, question.
Yeah.
Interesting. He doesn't say that by the Shanei Yovel V'Shmita, right? That it's only in Beis Din?
No, you're right. He doesn't. That's a good point. Right. Even though it is only Beis Din, you're right. He doesn't say that. Yeah, good call. Then we got Shabbos. So this is another interesting thing, which again, I guess we'll see this more when we go through the Chalukas Asfarim. But you know what? I'm just gonna, for our purposes, go to Machon Mamre because it's a little bit faster here. What's interesting is in Sefer Zmanim. So the order in the Sefer Zmanim is Shabbos, Erevin, Shvius HaSasor, which is Yom Kippur, Shvius is Yom Tov, Chamitu Matzah, Shofar Sukkah V'Lulav, Shkalim, Kiddush HaChodesh, then Tanyos and Migil of Chanukah. So Kiddush HaChodesh is at the end, is like towards the end, whereas here in our list, Kiddush HaChodesh is before Shabbos. And it's interesting because you might have argued that he should go Shabbos, which can be fulfilled independent of Kiddush HaChodesh, then do Kiddush HaChodesh and then the Moadim, because the Moadim are dependent on Kiddush HaChodesh, but he inserts Shabbos here. Interesting. Lishbos Bashabbos, to cease or rest on Shabbos. Shnemar Vayom HaShavi'i Tishbos. L'Kadeh Shabbos, to sanctify Shabbos, which is Kiddush. Shnemar Zachor Es Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsho. Leva'er Chametz, to eliminate Chametz. Eradicate chametz. Shnemar b'yom harishon tash bisus or mibatechem. On the first day you shall eradicate leaven from your houses. L'sapir b'yitzias Mitzrayim. L'sapir b'yitzias Mitzrayim b'layla harishon shalachal kamatos. To recount the story of the going out from Egypt on the first night of the Chag HaMatzos. Shnemar v'higatel b'ncha b'yom hahu. You shall recount your son on that day. 158, le'echol matzah b'leil zeh, to eat matzah on this night. Shenemar ba'erev tokel matzos, this night you should eat matzos. On the evening you should eat matzos. Lishbos b'rishon shel Pesach, to cease from malach on the first of Pesach. Shenemar b'yom harishon mikra kodesh, on the first day is a holy convocation. Lishbos b'shvi'i bo, to rest on the seventh day. Shenemar b'yom hashvi'i mikra kodesh, on the seventh day is mikra kodesh. Lispor miktiras ha'omer tisha v'arba'im yom, to count from the harvesting of the omer 49 days. Count, you should count for yourselves on the morrow of the Sabbath, which is Pesach.
It doesn't mention matzah or mar or any of that stuff.
Good point. Well, matzah he mentioned, right?
Oh, matzah, sorry. Yeah.
But
he doesn't mention
not maror, right?
Yeah. Or the 7 days of Pesach.
Yes, that's a good question. Okay, good. Yeah, I got carried away there in the Moadim here. Lishbos Bashavi, we said that right. Lishbos Bayom Chamishim. That's very interesting, right? Does not call this Shavuos. He called this one Pesach, right? Barishon shel Pesach. He does not say Barishon shel Shavuos. Lishbos Bayom Chamishim. Shnemar Ukrasim be'etam hayom hazeh Mikra Kodesh. You shall proclaim on that day Mikra Kodesh. Lishbos ba'rishon shel chodesh hashvi, to rest on the first of the 7th month. That's Rosh Hashanah. Shnemar be'echad l'chodesh yeh lechem shabboson. Lihisanos ba'asiri, to fast on the 10th day of it. Shnemar be'asor l'chodesh ta'anu es nafshosechem. You shall afflict your souls. Lishbos b'yom hatzom, to cease from malacha on that day. Shnemar Shabbos Shabboson hu lechem.
It's interesting that he calls it Yom HaTzom.
Right.
Like he establishes Tzom and then he calls it Yom HaTzom.
Yeah, it's true. And it's also interesting that it's in that order. Is that the same order that he has it in Shvisas Asor? Here he says, Lishbos bo mi malacha, then shelo lasos bo malacha, then shelo lisanos bo and shelo lechav lishtos. Yeah, so he makes the day come before the tinus. Lishbos barishon shalachak hasukos. Shnemar bayom harishon mikra kodesh, to rest on the first day of the Chag HaSukkos, as it says on the first day it should be mikra kodesh. Lishbos b'shemini shalachag. Shnemar bayom hashmini mikra kodesh, on the 8th day it should be mikra kodesh. So just now we've seen all of the regalim. It's interesting he uses a different terminology for all of them. So Pesach, he doesn't call it the Chag HaPesach. He calls it the Rishon Shel Pesach. Then Shavuos, he doesn't call it Rishon of Shavuos or Chag HaShavuos. He calls it Biyom Chamishim. So he puts it in terms of Omer. And then on Sukkos, he says Rishon Shel Chag HaSukkos and Shmini Shel Chag. And also for Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, he says L'saper Yetzias Mitzrayim Balayla Harishon Shel Chag HaMatzos. So he refers to it as Chag HaMatzos and he refers to it as a Laila Harishon. There's a Rabbi Zucker Svara on the Mitzvah Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim on the first night that the Rambam's Shita is that it is so most of our mitzvos in Galus we do on both nights, but we do it out of the Sveka Dioma. But Rabbi Zucker holds that, and the mitzvah stems from the Kedushas Hayom, but Rabbi Zucker has a shiur where he explains that the Rambam holds that it's not a mitzvah to tell the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim on the first night of Pesach. It's a mitzvah to tell the mitzvah of Yetzias Mitzrayim on the night of the 15th of Nisan. And that we do the mitzvos on the second night, but it's not b'Torah Sveka Dioma. It's a different thing, and you see that. I know this is a side point, but it's a cool point. I mean, well, if we stop for every cool point, we would never finish this. But just because this is related to the formulation, if you look in the Rambam's formulation, Hilchos Chametz U'Matzah, in the Nusach HaHaggadah at the very end, the Rambam says, Kaseder shemavarachim v'korim ha'Haggadah b'leil Yom Tov Rishon shel Pesach, kach mevarchim v'korim b'leil hasheni shel Galios, v'chein chayavin b'leil hasheni b'arba kosos uv'shar dvarim shenasu b'leil Rishon. So you see that from the Rambam, there's a havamina, despite what he says in Hilchos Shvisas Yom Tov. In other words, in Hilchos Shvisas Yom Tov, the Rambam makes it clear that everything you do on the first day, you do on the second day. So despite that, the Rambam here says that that on he acknowledges that there's a havamina that you would not do the Seder and the Arba Kosos on the second night, and the havamina comes from the fact that that it's not tied to the Kedushas Hayom, it's tied to the date of the 15th of Nisan. So that's a side thing.
Wait,
Okay.
so why do you end up doing it in the end? Namaskana.
That you have to go to the shiur for. Oh, yeah. Also, I don't remember, but okay. Yeah. So I don't know why he refers to the different holidays in different ways here. Okay, then he gets to Sukkah, right? 168. Leishiv Basukkah Shivas Yamim, to sit and dwell in Sukkos for 7 days. Shnemar Basukkos Teshu Shivas Yamim. Litol Lulav, to take a lulav. Shnemar L'kakam Lechem B'Yom Rishon Pri Etz Hadar. You should take for yourself on the first day the fruit of a beautiful tree. Lishmoa Kol Shofar B'Rosh Hashanah, to hear the sound of the shofar in Rosh Hashanah. Shnemar Yom Trua Yeh Lechem. If I recall correctly, I think that's also different than his formulation in Zmanim, in the Mishneh Torah itself. I thought he specified Trua. He says here, no, Lishmo Kol Shofar Be'echad B'Tishrei. It's funny he calls it Echad B'Tishrei there. But let's see, in the actual halachos, oh wait, sorry, I should go to the beginning. Yeah, Trua Shofar, that's where I'm getting it from. In the formulation of the notes, he emphasizes the Trua, not just the Kol. Okay.
Here he says Rosh Hashanah, but over there,
yeah.
So in the what he says about the Shvisa, he also mentions the first of.
Yes, right. That's a good point. Yeah, Rishon Shel Chodesh, right? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Litin machatzitz shekel b'chol shana v'shana shnemar zeh yitnu kola over al pukudim, to give a half shekel each and every year, as it is stated. This shall they give anyone who passes over those who are numbered. Lishmoa mikol navi. Okay, another big jump. So at least this category was clear. The category was zmanim, and I guess. I mean, you could argue about certain mitzvos whether they should be classified there or not, like the Korban Pesach, but like it makes sense that you classify that by Korbanos. But yeah, for the most part, this was Sefer Zmanim, except Tainus, right? Because Tainus he had all the way up there with the Chatzotros. Okay. 172. Lishmoa mikol navi sheyeh b'chol dor vador im lo yosif lo yigra. It's funny he adds that in there. To obey every navi that'll be in any generation, if he does not add or subtract. Shemar elav tishma'un, as it says, you should listen to him. Yeah. Okay. Lemanos melech. Wow, we're all over the place here because lishmoa mikol navi is in Hilchos Yisodei Torah, but then lemanos melech is in Sefer Malachim. You shall appoint a king over yourselves. 174. Lishmoa mikol based in Hagadol shiyamdu lahem liYisrael, to obey every based in Hagadol that arises for Israel. According to the judgment that they will say to you, you shall do. Lintos achrei rabim, to incline after the majority. If there's a machlokas in the Sanhedrin in law, as it says, turn after the majority. So it looks like, I don't want to speak prematurely, it looks like we are now in Sefer Shoftim category, because we got Melech and Sanhedrin stuff. Lamanos Shotrim V'Shoftim B'chol Kahal V'Kahal M'Yisrael, to appoint judges and officers in each and every community of Israel. Shnamar Shoftim Shotrim Tidin L'cha, she'll appoint judges and officers for yourself. Lahashos bein baledinim b'shash ondim bedin, to equate between the litigants at the time when they stand in judgment. Are you aware of what this mitzvah means?
To like fairly judge the people.
No, this is pre-judgment. So let's look. This I think I actually learned from Mishneh, because there are Mishneh psukim about this. That's another kind of embarrassment where you learn from Mishneh what is actually stated in the Torah. Shitzivanu l'chol hadayanim lahashvos bein baladinim v'shiyeh nishma kol echad mehem im orech devarav o ketzuram. So to listen to all of the litigants, whether their words are long or short. Of who amru yisrael b'tzedek tishmanu misachav uva hapirish b'sifri shelo yehei echad midaber kol tzarach ve'echad omer lo katzar devarecha v'zo achas me'akavanos. So you basically shouldn't try to you shouldn't be unequal when it comes to giving them time to present their case. V'zo achas mi'akavan shekol aleim hatzivu hazeh uva gam kein shekol ish mitzvah ladun din Torah k'sheyihye yodeh bo hariv shbein develadim. And then secondly, so this is actually what you said, Zev. I was wrong. I thought this was not included. That you should apply the din Torah when you judge them. You shouldn't judge them based on other criteria. Uvir amro echad dan es chavero davar Torah shnemar b'tzeg tishbon misacha v'chlal gam kein sheyischayv sheyadun es chavero lokav zechus v'lo yifarsh ma'asav udvarav ela latov. What? I thought that was just a drasha. I didn't realize this was part of the deraisa of being down the kav zechus. Weird. Okay, news to me. Strange.
Wait, so that's only for judges to be done the kav zechus?
No, that's the weird thing also, is that this is for all people.
So it's an avera if you weren't down the kav zechus?
I guess you're mevatel an aseh, right? I guess we'll have to see if there's a los aseh that you're over, but you're definitely mevatel this aseh, it seems. Very strange. Okay, not aware of that.
Are you sure it's not just talking about the judges? How do we know it's not just about judges?
I mean, first of all, this is not, the judge is not a judge. First of all, the judge is not chayav to be down the kav zechus. I'm pretty sure that just halachically, that's not just like a thing, right? That would be unjust. Secondly, a judge's actions, a judge's judgment has to do with din, not with being mefarish ma'asav udvarav latov.
That's true.
Right? That's like, and that's like the way that the Rambam formulates it in the Pirush Mishnayos on Hevidan es kol adam l'kav zechus.
Got it.
And that's the other weird thing also. This is less of a question, but in the Rambam's Pirush Mishnayos on that Mishnah, I believe, he says you're only chayav to be done a tzaddik l'kav zechus. Oh no, sorry. You're only chayav to be done a tzaddik l'kav zechus when he looks like he's doing something bad. But if it's neutral and you're done, everyone l'kav zechus. All right, very strange. Oh, side point. I know, Isaac, you're not a movie guy, right? Okay. Zev or Moshe, are you guys movie guys?
What does that mean?
Do you watch movies? Do you like movies? Do you like film?
Oh. Yeah. I thought it meant something. I don't know what it meant.
Oh yeah. Zev, what about you?
Every so often.
Every so often. Okay, fine. So you're not a movie guy. No, you're not like a hardcore movie guy. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd recommend it to everyone, but there's a. Do you know who Aaron Sorkin is?
Yeah, he's a screenwriter.
Yeah, screenwriter, right? So he did A Few Good Men. He did The West Wing. You know, so this new movie came out on last Friday, on Netflix called The Trial of the Chicago 7. And it's about a true story that happened during the civil rights, or during like when Lyndon Johnson, right after his presidency. And it is I'd say it's the most, I guess, gave me the realest sense of why you need these mitzvos for dayanim. One of the characters, who was an actual like real life person, is a very unjust judge. And I guess I had never seen such a realistic depiction of the helplessness and the perversion of justice that is felt in a courtroom when you have a judge like that. So if you are in the mood for like a good movie, well-written historical fiction, historically based Aaron Sorkin, and like shedding light on Shoftim, I recommend that on Netflix. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we at when is the end of the section? Yeah, let's finish the section, which is 2 more mitzvos. L'ha'id, wait. Yeah, l'ha'id bevestin lemish yesh lo edus, to that a person who has testimony must testify in Beis Din. So this is something that I don't know if this is well known. I guess it depends if you learn the Gemaras or not. But whenever I say this in high school, then for some reason students are shocked that like if you witness something that would require testimony, you have to go to Beis Din to testify. Like it's not like in American court where like you could just get called in, you know. But like if you witness a you know, I don't know, murder, I guess. I mean, I guess that is more similar to America, but like you actually have to go in and testify. So it's a responsibility on the Eidim. 170.
What about by the Chodesh? Everyone who sees the moon has to go testify?
I think so. unless that's a different system, but I'm pretty sure.
No, everyone has to go testify.
What was that?
Everyone has to go testify by the
Yeah.
new moon.
All right. 177. Lachkor ha'edim harbe, to interrogate the witnesses excessively or a lot. Shnemar v'darash v'chalkarta v'shalta hetev. You should inquire and investigate or interrogate and ask very well. Lasos leidim zomim kumosha dimu lasos, to conspiring witnesses what they imagined or conspired to do. Shnemar v'asisim lo kasher zamam. You shall do to them what they conspired to do. Okay, then it looks like we get to a different section here. Okay. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know if this is it kind of just reminded me of when it says that the aide has to go give his testimony. It just reminded me of that a Navi has to do that also. So I'm just I'm wondering why he doesn't mention
Navi has
that.
to do what?
Has to go say his nevuah.
Oh, that is interesting. I mean,
is that real halacha, maybe? Maybe it's not real halacha.
It is real halacha. Yeah, he's chayav misa if he's kovesh nevuaso. And that's a mitzvah just upon the Navi. I mean, I see the similarity. I don't know if they're conceptually similar or just in action, because that is, I'm like I just said, that is chayav misa actually, and that's also not enforceable by Beis Din, I don't think. Right? I don't see how it would be enforceable. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
if Beis Din gets a nevuah, that he got a nevuah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting though. I've never thought of the comparison between those two. Yeah.
I will just say about the translation.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I remember Joe was asking about it. I think this is a relatively loose translation of the Sefer Mitzvos.
Yeah, my guess is this is like a 1903 public domain British scholar translation. This is not
yeah, because I'm noting that it says translates Adam Zomerman as false witnesses, not conspiring.
Oh yeah, that's
witnesses.
very loose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. Okay, so let's stop for today, and we'll see what happens where we get through next time. I don't know.
Right.
All right, see ya.
Thank you.